In this video, I'm going to discuss what is leadership development. Hi, I'm Jenny Vasquez Newsom, a leadership facilitator amplifying the expertise of leaders of color and the CEO of Untapped Leaders. This is my YouTube series, Untapped Leadership, where I discuss leadership with the niche of uncovering what is often overlooked from the perspectives of racially marginalized leaders. If you like this topic, please hit the subscribe button. And let's just get into today's conversation. What is leadership development? To me, there are three essential elements to leadership development. The first being that there is no destination. We can often get caught up in thinking like we've made it as a leader when we get to that certain title, certain pay grade, a certain level of responsibility, certain degrees, a whole list of things that you can fill in the blank. But that's not the case. Developing as a leader is constant. We're always doing that, or at least we should be. It's having a mindset of always learning, listening, stretching beyond your comfort zone, doing something new, learning from new perspectives. And so if you ever have this feeling like you've arrived as a leader, then I encourage you to question that, because I think it might have more development to do in that case. Another essential element to leadership development is that I think we should all consider how we define leadership and ensure that we are developing into the type of leader that resonates for us individually, not necessarily what's been defined by others for us. So this has been actually an important part of my own leadership journey, and really a reason why I founded Untapped Leaders. I've studied leadership theories and facilitated leadership frameworks, read a lot of books throughout my 2-decade career. And admittedly, it took me a little while to realize that almost all the theories and frameworks and books that I've read were largely developed by white men. So folks that didn't look like me or I didn't identify with. It wasn't necessarily a leadership that represented me. And as I worked to develop that, because those folks that have navigated work and careers much differently than I have. So I found myself kind of spending so much time bending and contorting into these leadership frameworks that actually probably weren't created for someone like me in mind. So before you dive into leadership development, I think you should be really clear on what type of leader you want to develop into. And particularly as a marginalized leader, who hasn't been given enough space to define that for ourselves, that's step one to understanding that. And lastly, I think that the third essential element for leadership development is that for it to be effective, long-lasting, impactful, it has to be aware of and grounded in context. There's no one size fits all in leadership. There's no standard recipe or formula or how to follow. What works for me might not work for you. What works today might not work tomorrow. And who we are is informed by the richness of our backgrounds, cultures, lived experiences, everything that makes our standpoint unique. And so our contexts are changing every day, and we need to get good at understanding the nuance and complexity that is essential and embedded in good leadership. So leadership development should help us build that muscle to navigate complexity and understand that we all bring something different to the table, and that is essential to building that table. So I'd say leadership development should always be happening, number one, should resonate and align with who you are, number two, and it should not be easy. If it's easy, if it feels like it's prescribed for you, if it encourages you to lead in a way that doesn't feel right, and if you're at a point that you're like, okay, I got this, and you're done developing, then like I said, you probably have a little bit more work to do, and there's always an opportunity to continue that development. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please click the thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to tackle, please add it to the comments. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.